Amid the sparkling skyline of Marina Bay Sands and the rustic charm of its preserved shophouses, Singapore's narrative unfolds, a fusion of past and future. This transformation, from a fledgling post-colonial trading port in 1965 to a bustling global metropolis, is a testament to visionary leadership and unwavering determination. Kuan Yew's stewardship anchored the nation in principles of robust governance, economic innovation, and societal harmony. Although his passing in 2015 marked the end of an era, the beacon he lit continues to guide Singapore's dynamic evolution. The post-Lee landscape reveals a nation striving for excellence, embracing challenges, and shaping its destiny. This journey, simultaneously honoring its rich history and pushing the boundaries of what's possible, showcases Singapore's enduring spirit and ambitious aspirations. Let us get the glimpse of today's Singapore. In the years since its inception, Singapore's political arena has been characterized by remarkable stability and continuity, largely influenced by the era of Kuan Yew. Since 1959, the People's Action Party, PAP, has governed the nation, placing a consistent emphasis on economic development and social welfare. This commitment has ensured Singapore's ascent towards prosperity. The ability to maintain such stability can be credited to multiple factors, including seamless leadership transitions, as evidenced by the change from Goh Chok Tong to Lee Hsien Loong in 2004.
I owe a personal debt to Goh Chok Tong. I didn't plan to enter politics or to become PM. But he brought me in, he guided me and supported me, and especially over these last 14 years when I was his VPM.
Furthermore, the PAP's systematic approach to leadership grooming and its allegiance to long-term policies have been instrumental in its dominance, even though there has been a decline in its share of the popular vote in recent elections.
The results reflect the pain and uncertainty that Singaporeans feel. This was not a feel-good election.
Singapore's post-Lee Kuan Yew political scene has experienced nuanced changes. One such change is the growth of pluralism. While the PAP remains a major force, there has been a noticeable rise in the influence of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and interest groups. These entities, advocating for various issues like environmental conservation, social justice, and human rights, have introduced diverse perspectives into Singapore's political discourse. Their emergence indicates a widening political consciousness among the populace, even if it might not significantly alter the political balance in the immediate future. Consistently, Singapore has exhibited a resolute stance against corruption. Rooted in the governance principles from Lee Kuan Yew's time, this commitment to integrity has remained unwavering.
It is not possible to enforce high standards of integrity in the civil service if the political leadership tolerates any corrupt behavior.
A testament to these efforts is the proactive role of the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, CPIB. In 2022, they made a notable impact, apprehending 144 individuals for corruption-related offenses and recuperating about 140 million Singaporean dollars. As a result of such endeavors, Singapore secured the top spot in Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index in 2022. Since the passing of Lee Kuan Yew's era, Singapore has continued to manifest robust economic growth. It has maintained an impressive average GDP growth rate of 5% per year over the past decade, with one of the world's highest per capita GDPs of more than $65,000 in 2022. By actively engaging in free trade agreements and attracting over $700 billion in foreign investment since 1965, Singapore has bolstered its position as a global economic powerhouse.
As Singapore and the EU mark the first anniversary of their free trade agreement.
In 2023, Singapore's formidable status as a financial hub is evident, ranking third in the Global Financial Centers Index and managing over $3 trillion in assets. Underpinned by a sturdy regulatory framework, the nation's infrastructural dedication is spotlighted by investments in the mass rapid transit system, Changi Airport's expansion, and the Singapore-Kuala Lumpur high-speed rail, with plans to invest $100 billion, or 5% of its GDP, over the next decade, aiming to generate 100,000 jobs. Since Lee Kuan Yew's time, Singapore's entrepreneurial surge has been catalyzed by initiatives like the NSEF Startup SG Founder Program and Spring Singapore, leading to a 50% surge in startups in 5 years and positioning the city-state fourth in global startup ecosystems. Furthermore, a fiscal reserve of US $440 billion as of March 2023, policies emphasizing diversification and investment in R&D have fortified its economy, with a notable recovery from a 5.4% contraction in 2020 to a 7.2% growth in 2021. Reinforcing this fiscal robustness, Singapore has maintained a decade-long budget surplus, managed a mere 10% public debt relative to its GDP, and held consistent current account surpluses, with foreign reserves surpassing 400 billion Singaporean dollars, underscoring its resilience against global upheavals. Moreover, while tackling corruption, Singapore has also taken commendable steps. Several initiatives, such as the National Education Program and the Pledge of Loyalty, have been instrumental in cultivating a sense of shared identity among Singapore's diverse citizens. Additionally, policies aimed at assisting low-income families and promoting homeownership have furthered the cause of national cohesion.
On top of broad-based support for families, we prioritize additional support for lower-income families.
Since the post-Lee Kuan Yew era, Singapore has adeptly reshaped its governance structure, emphasizing both decentralization and agility. The establishment of elected town councils for local affairs and the creation of independent statutory boards for vital sectors like transport and healthcare have effectively distributed authority. This structural adaptation is paralleled by Singapore's prompt legislative responses to contemporary needs, such as AI regulations. A hallmark of its modern governance is the emphasis on public involvement, demonstrated by consultations on significant urban developments. Meanwhile, Singapore's media regulation strikes a delicate balance between a free press and national security needs in a diverse society. Building on Lee Kuan Yew's foundational policies, the government's strategic investments and incentives for entrepreneurship have ensured a robust economy.
More money and more inspiration is on the way for first-time startup entrepreneurs in Singapore,
reflected in an unemployment rate consistently below 3%. The nation's multiracial identity, comprising 75% Chinese, followed by Malays at 14%, and Indians at 9%, has remained integral, with government efforts promoting integration and mutual respect. Youth political engagement has emerged as a focal area in Singapore's recent political evolution. Recognizing the importance of involving the younger generation in nation building, entities like the National Youth Council, NYC, have launched initiatives to stimulate their political awareness. The Youth in Politics program and the Youth Political Leadership Forum are notable examples.
Plans to expand our youth leadership programs to provide younger student leaders the opportunity to engage on national issues.
These efforts seem to be bearing fruit, with a 2022 NYC survey revealing that 72% of young Singaporeans are keenly interested in politics, and 62% believe they can influence the nation's political future. Singapore's commitment to holistic well-being and societal progress is underscored by its proactive measures in mental health, evident in its awareness and research initiatives, and the significant uptick in volunteering with 2.2 million participants in 2022. Within healthcare, the nation allocates 4% of its GDP to ensure universal coverage, foster world-class medical facilities, and pioneer treatments, making it a leader on the Bloomberg Healthiest Country Index 2023. Addressing the demographic tilt towards seniors, which are projected to constitute 28% of the population by 2030, Singapore has revamped retirement support. Innovations include enhancements to the Central Provident Fund, the Silver Support Scheme, the Workfare Income Supplement, and bespoke programs like the Pioneer and Merdeka Generation packages. Beyond financial measures, Singapore emphasizes active aging and well-being, with policies for prolonged employment and urban adaptability for seniors.
More than 5,700 firms have tapped on the scheme, benefiting over 45,000 senior workers in Singapore,
ensuring that its economic robustness benefits every citizen. Moreover, a 61% labor force participation rate among women exemplifies Singapore's emphasis on gender inclusivity, fortifying both societal and economic pillars. Likewise, Singapore's commitment to quality education has continued to thrive in the post-Lee Kuan Yew era, with an investment that amounts to 20% of the government's budget, one of the world's highest. The implementation of compulsory education covering primary and secondary levels, coupled with financial aid for students from low-income families, has led to an impressive 98% literacy rate. Singapore's outstanding focus on education is globally recognized, with the nation ranking second in the World Bank's 2022 Learning Outcomes ranking. Singapore has strongly emphasized technological innovation, dedicating about 4% of its GDP to research and development, which has positioned it as a Southeast Asian research leader. Boasting over 2,000 tech startups, 10 unicorns, and hosting tech titans like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft, Singapore's innovative ecosystem is reinforced by initiatives such as the National Research Foundation and the Startup SG Accelerator. The city-state's pursuit of becoming a smart nation, underpinned by advanced sensors and data analytics, its establishment of a blockchain sandbox and a national AI strategy, underlines its aspiration to be a global technological forefront. This commitment is further highlighted by its top position in the World Bank's Digital Competitiveness Index in 2022. Since Kuan Yew's passing, Singapore has embraced a broad spectrum of industries, moving away from a heavy reliance on manufacturing. The growth of the services sector, including financial services, tourism, and logistics, has contributed to GDP resilience against economic shocks. Investments in high-tech sectors such as biotechnology and information technology align with future growth areas, while over $700 billion in foreign direct investment since 1965, and free trade agreements with more than 20 countries have solidified Singapore's global standing. Simultaneously, Singapore has not wavered in its commitment to a neutral and cooperative foreign policy. This has positioned the city-state as a trusted entity in international diplomacy. Its active participation in organizations like the United Nations, ASEAN, and the WTO, coupled with its unwavering support for the rule of law and international norms, has solidified its reputation on the global stage. In international relations, Singapore's active engagement as a founding member of ASEAN and participation in global bodies like the United Nations showcase a commitment to multilateralism. With a trade volume of $800 billion in 2022, Singapore's extensive free trade agreements underline its status as a major trading nation. Its robust investment in national security and regional defense cooperation further cements its position in Southeast Asia. Singapore's global responsibility is also evident in its role in health diplomacy, contributions to the World Health Organization, and work on vaccines such as for COVID-19. Its commitment to climate change, with a target to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 36% by 2030 and alignment with the Paris Agreement, underscore a broader global commitment. The dedication to affordable housing in the post-Lee Kuan Yew era is no less striking, with the government owning approximately 80% of the housing stock. By providing diverse housing options for various income levels and extending financial assistance for housing acquisition, Singapore has achieved a 90% home ownership rate. This success is evident from Singapore's top ranking in the Demographia International Housing Affordability Survey 2022.
We have achieved tremendous success with home ownership. It's because we made home ownership a strategic priority from the start of nation building and have continually invested in it over the decades.
Enhancements to the welfare system reflect a deepening sense of social responsibility. Through initiatives like the Workfare Income Supplement and the Pioneer Generation Package, Singapore has broadened its support to low-income workers, seniors, and those unable to work. The expansion of these systems attests to a more comprehensive and caring approach towards its citizens. Immigration management has been a cornerstone of maintaining a balanced society in Singapore. By employing a points-based system and a quota system, the government has effectively balanced economic growth with social cohesion. This success in navigating the complexities of immigration reflects a refined governance strategy. Civic engagement growth has emerged as a vital aspect of Singapore's community development. Through initiatives such as the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Center and our Singapore Conversation, the government has actively encouraged citizens to partake in democratic processes and community involvement. These endeavors mark a significant growth in interest in civic participation. Singapore's transformation is marked by dynamic evolution across various sectors. Maritime growth has been significant, with Singapore becoming the world's busiest container port, supplemented by government investments in new port facilities like the cutting-edge container terminals. This expansion underscores Singapore's continued focus on maintaining its global maritime prominence. Alongside this, Singapore's crisis response planning has been highly efficient, demonstrated in its handling of natural disasters, terrorist attacks, and the COVID-19 pandemic, showcasing its adaptability and resilience in the face of uncertainty. Another arena where Singapore has made significant strides in recent years is cybersecurity. Recognizing the pivotal role of cybersecurity in today's digital era, the Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore, CSA, has been instrumental in bolstering the nation's cyber defenses. The country's dedication to cybersecurity was recognized globally when it clinched the top spot in the Global Cybersecurity Index in 2023. Environmentally, Singapore's dedication to sustainability shines through its goals of generating 25% of electricity from renewable sources by 2030, reducing reliance on fossil fuels, and recycling 70% of its waste. These strategies, along with urban planning focusing on sustainable growth and smart city development, align with global efforts, as evidenced by Singapore's rank of second in the Bloomberg Green Energy Index in 2022. Tourism and cultural promotion are significant aspects of Singapore's growth, with over 19 million visitors in 2022 and strategic investments in attractions like museums. Efforts to attract tourists from emerging markets and showcase Singapore's multicultural richness. In the aftermath of Kuan Yew's era, Singapore has demonstrated an indomitable spirit of progress, seamlessly weaving its rich historical tapestry into a vision of the future characterized by dynamic economic growth, technological innovation, and steadfast governance. Rooted in Lee's foundational principles, Singapore's journey is marked by its pursuit of excellence in diverse spheres. From robust anti-corruption measures and a burgeoning political pluralism to outstanding educational outcomes and a steadfast commitment to environmental sustainability. Its strategic investments in infrastructure, emphases on cybersecurity, and dedication to societal cohesion echo the nation's profound sense of responsibility to both its citizens and the global community. Evident in its ambitious milestones across myriad sectors, Singapore's evolution continues to epitomize a harmonious blend of respect for its legacy and an unwavering drive towards future aspirations.